Captain Do-hyun Kim stood on the bridge of the starship Indomitable, watching the stars through the main window. The ship was huge, bigger than any warship humans had ever built. It had the best weapons, the strongest shields, and the fastest engines Earth could make. Do-hyun was proud to command it. "Captain," said Commander Nari Park from her station, "we are getting close to the Kepler Nebula. All systems are working fine." Do-hyun nodded. The Kepler Nebula was at the edge of human space. They were on patrol, making sure no enemies were hiding there. The nebula was a cloud of gas and dust that stretched for millions of miles. It was beautiful but dangerous. "Keep scanning," Do-hyun said. "I want to know if anything is out there." Chief Engineer Woo-jin Lee looked up from his computer. "Captain, the engines are running perfectly. We could outrun anything in this sector." Navigator Sora Choi checked her charts. "Sir, we are exactly where we should be. All the star maps match perfectly." Do-hyun smiled. His crew was the best. They had trained together for 3 years. Nari was smart and brave. Woo-jin knew every part of the ship. Sora could find their way through any part of space. He trusted them with his life. The Indomitable moved slowly through space. Its hull was dark gray, covered with armor that could stop the strongest weapons. Inside, 500 crew members worked at their jobs. They all believed they were protecting Earth and the human colonies. "Captain," Nari said suddenly, "I'm seeing something strange on the sensors." Do-hyun walked over to her station. "What is it?" "There's some kind of energy reading ahead of us. It's not like anything in our database." Sora looked at her instruments. "It's coming from inside the nebula, about 2 million miles away." Woo-jin frowned. "The energy pattern is very odd. It's not from any engine or weapon I know." Do-hyun thought for a moment. "Take us closer but stay alert. If it's dangerous, we need to be ready to fight or run." The Indomitable changed course toward the strange energy. As they got closer, the readings became stronger. The energy was swirling and moving in patterns that made no sense. "Captain," Sora said, her voice worried, "the energy is affecting our navigation systems." "The star charts are starting to look wrong." "How wrong?" Do-hyun asked. "Like the stars are moving. But that's impossible." Nari checked her weapon systems. "All guns are ready, Captain. But I don't see any ships or objects near the energy source." They flew deeper into the nebula. The gas clouds around them glowed with strange colors. Red, blue, and green lights danced in the darkness. The energy readings got stronger with every mile. "There," Woo-jin said, pointing at the main screen. "I can see it now." In front of them was something that should not exist. It looked like a hole in space itself. The hole was spinning slowly and energy poured out of it in waves. Around the edges, space seemed to bend and twist. "What is that thing?" Nari whispered. Do-hyun had never seen anything like it. "Some kind of space anomaly. Maybe a black hole?" "No," Woo-jin said, studying his instruments. "Black holes don't look like this. This is something else. Something new." Sora's hands moved quickly over her controls. "Captain, the anomaly is affecting our engines. I'm having trouble keeping us on course." The ship shook slightly. The lights on the bridge flickered. Do-hyun felt a cold fear in his stomach. "Take us back," he ordered. Full reverse, but it was too late. The spinning hole suddenly grew bigger. Much bigger. It expanded like a balloon being blown up, reaching out toward their ship. "I can't control the engines," Sora shouted. "It's pulling us in." The Indomitable shook harder. Alarms started ringing throughout the ship. Crew members held onto their stations as the ship was dragged toward the anomaly. "All power to engines," Do-hyun commanded. Woo-jin's fingers flew over his controls. "Engines at maximum power." But it's not enough. The hole filled their view now. It was like looking into a tunnel that went on forever. Energy crackled around them. The ship's hull groaned under the stress. "Brace for impact!" Do-hyun yelled into the ship's communication system. The Indomitable was sucked into the anomaly. Everything went white, then black, then white again. Do-hyun felt like he was being stretched and squeezed at the same time. The bridge spun around him, or maybe he was spinning. He couldn't tell. Time seemed to stop, or maybe it went very fast. Do-hyun saw flashes of other places, other times. Stars being born, planets dying, ships he didn't recognize flying through space. Then everything went dark. When Do-hyun woke up, he was on the bridge floor. His head hurt badly. Around him, his crew was slowly getting up. The ship was quiet except for the normal hum of the engines. "Is everyone okay?" he asked. Nari helped him stand up. "I think so, Captain. But look outside." Do-hyun looked at the main screen and felt his heart stop. The stars were all wrong. Every single one was in the wrong place. These were not the stars of human space. Sora was already at her station checking the navigation systems. Captain, none of our star charts work anymore. I can't find any known stars or galaxies. Where are we? Wu Jin asked. Du Hyun looked at the alien stars and realized the terrible truth. We're lost. Completely lost. Nari ran a full scan of the area around them. No human ships. No human colonies. No signals from Earth. How far did that thing send us? Sora wondered out loud. Du Hyun walked to his captain's chair and sat down. His crew looked at him, waiting for orders. They were alone in unknown space, thousands or maybe millions of light years from home. But they were alive, and they had the most powerful warship ever built. We'll find a way home, he told them. But first we need to figure out where we are, and who lives here. He didn't know it yet, but they had just entered the territory of the most dangerous empire in this part of the galaxy. The Vorak Dominion had ruled these stars for thousands of years. They had never met humans before. They were about to learn why that was a very bad thing for them. 3 days had passed since the Indomitable arrived in the strange part of space. Captain Do-hyun Kim and his crew had been trying to understand where they were. The ship's computers worked hard to map the new stars, but nothing matched their records from home. Captain, said navigator Sora Choi, I'm picking up signals from a nearby star system. They look like distress calls. Do-hyun looked at the data on his screen. How far away? About 6 hours at normal speed. The signals are weak, but they sound desperate. Commander Nari Park studied the readings. The signals are coming from multiple sources. Looks like several ships calling for help. Chief Engineer Woo Jin Lee frowned at his instruments. The technology is strange. Not human, but not like anything else I've seen either. Do-hyun made a decision. Set course for the signals, but keep our weapons ready. We don't know what we'll find. The Indomitable moved through space toward the distress calls. As they got closer, Sora's instruments showed more details about what was happening. Captain, I'm seeing a convoy of ships. They're running from something, moving fast and broadcasting emergency signals in several languages. Can you understand any of the languages? Do-hyun asked. Woo Jin worked on his computer. The ship's translation system is learning. Give me a few more minutes. When they reached the area, they saw something that made them angry. A group of small damaged ships was trying to escape from larger, more dangerous-looking vessels. The larger ships had dark hulls and were firing weapons at the smaller ones. The big ships are hunting the small ones, Nari said. This looks like an attack on civilians. Woo Jin's translation system finally worked. Captain, I can understand some of their calls. The small ships are refugees. Their families trying to escape from something called the Vorak Dominion. And the big ships? Do-hyun asked. Vorak military. They're trying to destroy the refugee ships. Do-hyun watched as one of the refugee ships exploded under enemy fire. He saw escape pods flying away from the wreck. That's enough. We're going to help them. Sir, Nari said carefully. We don't know anything about this conflict. Maybe we should just watch and learn. I know enough, Do-hyun replied. Big ships killing families in small ships. That's all I need to know. He spoke into the ship's communication system. All crew, this is the captain. We are going to rescue those refugee ships. Prepare for battle. The Indomitable moved toward the fight. The ship was much larger than any vessel there. When the Vorak ship saw it coming, they stopped attacking the refugees and turned to face this new threat. Captain, the Vorak ships are trying to communicate with us, Sora said. Put them on speaker, Do-hyun ordered. A harsh voice spoke in a language the computer translated. Unknown vessel, you are in Vorak space. Leave immediately or be destroyed. Do-hyun smiled coldly. Tell them this. Leave the refugee ships alone or we will destroy you. There was a pause. Then the Vorak voice came back sounding angry. You dare threaten the Vorak military? Your ship will be turned to dust. The Vorak ships opened fire. Their weapons were powerful, shooting beams of red energy at the Indomitable. But the human ship's shields were stronger than anything the Vorak had ever seen. The energy beams bounced off harmlessly. Nari, return fire, Do-hyun commanded. The Indomitable's weapons were far more advanced than the Vorak ones. Blue beams of pure energy shot out from the human ship. The first Vorak vessel exploded immediately. The second one tried to escape, but another shot from the Indomitable tore it apart. In less than 2 minutes, all 5 Vorak ships were destroyed. The refugee ship stopped running and floated in space, probably too shocked to move. Open a channel to the refugee ships, Do-hyun said. A new voice came through the speakers. This one sounded different from the Vorak, gentler and more musical. Unknown ship, we thank you for saving us. We are Thek refugees fleeing from Vorak territory. This is Captain Kim of the human ship Indomitable. Are you hurt? Do you need help? Many of our people are wounded. Our ships are damaged. We were trying to reach the neutral zone, but the Vorak caught us. Do-hyun looked at his crew. Bring them aboard. We'll help them fix their ships and treat their wounded. Over the next few hours, the Indomitable shuttles brought the refugees to the human ship. The Thek were unlike any aliens the humans had ever imagined. They were tall and thin with blue-gray skin and large, kind eyes. They moved gracefully and spoke in soft voices. The leader of the refugees was named Velnara. She was old and wise, and she told the humans about the terrible situation in this part of space. The Vorak Dominion has ruled here for 3,000 years, she explained as Wu Jin's medical team treated her wounded people. They conquer every world they find. Any species that resists is destroyed. Those who surrender become slaves. How many worlds do they control? Nari asked. Hundreds, maybe thousands. No one has ever been able to count them all. Sora looked shocked. That's a huge empire. How did they get so powerful? Velnara's expression became sad. They are ruthless and cruel, but they are also very advanced. Their weapons and ships are better than anything most species can build, and they never show mercy. What happened to your people? Do-hyun asked gently. The Vorak decided our world had resources they wanted. They gave us one choice, become slaves or die. Most of my people chose to fight. The Vorak killed them all and took our planet anyway. Wu Jin felt sick. How many Thek are left? The families on these ships are all that remain of our entire species. Maybe 2,000 people. That's all. Do-hyun was quiet for a moment. Then he asked, has anyone ever beaten the Vorak in battle? Velnara shook her head. Never, many have tried. The Korvan were great warriors, but the Vorak enslaved them. The Deltans had fast ships, but the Vorak caught them anyway. Every species that fights the Vorak loses. Until today, Nari said quietly. Velnara looked at her with surprise. What do you mean? Your Captain Kim just destroyed 5 Vorak warships in 2 minutes. I don't think that has ever happened before. The old Thek woman stared at Do-hyun with new understanding. Where do you come from? What species are you? We're humans, Do-hyun said. And we're very far from home. Humans. Velnara repeated the word slowly. I have never heard of humans before. The Vorak haven't either, Do-hyun realized. That might be our biggest advantage. As they talked, alarms started ringing on the bridge. Sora ran to her station and checked the sensors. Captain, I'm detecting more Vorak ships approaching. A lot more. They must have received a distress signal from the ships we destroyed. Do-hyun stood up. How many ships? At least 20. Maybe more. They'll be here in 1 hour. Velnara looked frightened. You must run. 20 Vorak ships will destroy even your powerful vessel. Do-hyun smiled grimly. Maybe. Or maybe it's time the Vorak learned what happens when they mess with humans. He turned to his crew. Prepare for battle, and send a message to those Vorak ships. What should the message say? Nari asked. Tell them that the humans have arrived, and we don't like bullies. The news traveled fast through Vorak space. An unknown warship had appeared from nowhere, and destroyed 5 military vessels without taking any damage. At the Vorak High Command, Supreme Admiral Kethmore read the reports with growing anger. Impossible, he said, crushing the data tablet in his metal hand. No ship can destroy 5 Vorak vessels that quickly. His aide, a younger officer named Dokvar, stepped forward carefully. Sir, we have sensor readings from the battle. The unknown ship used weapons we have never seen before. Kethmore was the most feared commander in the Vorak military. He was tall and strong with dark skin and red eyes that showed no mercy. For 50 years he had conquered worlds for the Dominion. He had never lost a battle. Show me everything, he ordered. They went to the command center where dozens of Vorak officers worked at computer stations. On the main screen, they watched the recording of the battle. The unknown ship was huge and dark with a shape unlike any vessel in their databases. Computer, analyze the enemy weapons, Kethmore commanded. The computer's voice was cold and mechanical. Enemy weapons use focused energy beams of unknown type. Power output is approximately 3 times greater than our best weapons. And their shields? Enemy shields absorbed all damage from 5 Vorak vessels without weakening. Kethmore felt something he had not experienced in many years. Worry. Where did this ship come from? Unknown, Supreme Admiral. No matching design in any database. No previous contact with this technology. Dokvar looked at more reports coming in. Sir, the unknown ship rescued Thek refugees. They are harboring enemies of the Dominion. Then they have chosen sides, Kethmore said. Send orders to all fleet commanders. This unknown vessel is now our highest priority target. I want it found and destroyed. Meanwhile, on the Indomitable, Captain Do-hyun Kim was learning more about their situation. The Thek refugees had been very helpful, giving the humans detailed information about Vorak technology and territory. Captain, said Chief Engineer Woo-jin Lee, I think I know how the Vorak have been tracking us, Do-hyun. Nari and Sora gathered around Woo-jin's station. What did you find? Our quantum drive leaves a very specific energy signature. It's like footprints in space. The Vorak sensors can follow our trail wherever we go. Can you hide the signature? Nari asked. I can reduce it but not eliminate it completely. The quantum drive is what makes us so fast and powerful. If we shut it down, we lose our biggest advantages. Navigator Sora had been studying the ancient star charts she found in the ship's computer. Captain, I think I know why we're having this problem. These charts are old, maybe thousands of years old, but they show this area of space looked very different back then. She put the old charts on the main screen next to their current maps. Look at this. The old charts show a different civilization controlled this space. Not the Vorak. What happened to them? Do-hyun asked. I don't know, but I think the Vorak destroyed them, just like they're doing to other species now. Commander Nari Park was planning their next moves. Captain, we can't stay in one place. The Vorak will send more ships to find us, but we also can't just run forever. What do you suggest? Hit and run attacks. We strike their military bases and supply ships, then disappear before they can respond. Make them afraid to travel in small groups. Do-hyun liked the idea. Show me their supply routes. The Thek refugees had provided maps of Vorak territory. Nari pointed to several star systems. These are their main supply lines. Food, weapons, and fuel for their fleets all pass through these systems. If we attack their supplies, their ships can't operate effectively, Woo-jin added. Do-hyun made his decision. We'll become ghosts. Strike fast, disappear faster. Make the Vorak scared of every shadow in space. Over the next 2 weeks, the Indomitable became the Vorak Empire's worst nightmare. They would appear near a supply convoy, destroy the military escort ships, and vanish before reinforcements arrived. Sometimes they hit weapons factories, sometimes fuel depots. Always, they left no survivors to describe their ship in detail. The attack spread fear throughout the Vorak military. Soldiers who had never known defeat began to look over their shoulders. Supply ships demanded larger escorts. Some crews refused to travel at all. Supreme Admiral Kethmore was furious. How can one ship cause this much trouble? They know our territory better than we thought, Dokvar reported. They always hit our weakest points, then escape before we can trap them. Double the escorts on all supply convoys. Triple them if necessary. Sir, that will take ships away from our conquest fleets. Our expansion will slow down. I don't care. Kethmore slammed his fist on the table. Find that ship and destroy it. But the Indomitable was always one step ahead. Captain Kim and his crew used tactics the Vorak had never seen before. They hid in asteroid fields where Vorak sensors couldn't find them. They used the gravity of planets to change direction without using their engines. They even hid inside gas clouds that blocked enemy communications. Captain, Sora said during one of their hiding periods, the Vorak are getting desperate. They're starting to hurt civilian populations on worlds where we've been spotted. Do-hyun felt sick when he heard this news. What do you mean? According to intercepted communications, they're executing civilians and destroying cities. They think it will make us stop helping the rebels. Nari looked angry. That's pure evil. They're killing innocent people because they can't catch us. It's working, though, Woo-jin said quietly. Some worlds are begging us to stay away. They'd rather live under Vorak rule than be destroyed. Do-hyun stared out at the stars. He had wanted to help the oppressed people of this galaxy, but now his actions were getting innocents killed. Sir, Nari said, there's something else. We're getting messages from other species. Word about us is spreading. What kind of messages? Some are asking for help. Others are offering to help us. It seems like our attacks have inspired resistance movements on dozens of worlds. Sora brought up a map showing communication signals throughout Vorak space. Look at this, Captain. There are rebel activities starting everywhere. Species that had given up hope are starting to fight again. Do-hyun realized what was happening. We're not just fighting the Vorak anymore. We're leading a rebellion. The question is, Woo-jin said, are we ready for that responsibility? Before Do-hyun could answer, alarms started ringing throughout the ship. Nari quickly checked her sensors. Captain, we have a big problem. The Vorak have found us. How many ships? 50, maybe more. It's the largest fleet we've seen yet. Do-hyun felt his heart race. Even the Indomitable couldn't fight 50 enemy ships at once. They're surrounding us, Sora reported. No clear escape route. Supreme Admiral Kethmore is commanding the fleet personally, Nari added. He's sending us a message. Put him on screen. The image of the Vorak commander appeared on their main display. His red eyes burned with hatred. Unknown ship, you have caused enough trouble. Surrender now and I will kill you quickly. Continue to resist and I will make your deaths last for days. Do-hyun stood up straight. Tell the Supreme Admiral that humans don't surrender to bullies. If he wants to fight, we'll give him a fight he'll never forget. Kethmore's expression became even more angry. Then you will die like the fool you are. The transmission ended. Around them, 50 Vorak ships moved into attack positions. Captain, Woo-jin said, the quantum drive is fully charged. If we're going to run, now is the time. Do-hyun looked at his crew. They were scared, but they trusted him. He thought about all the species suffering under Vorak rule, all the rebels who were fighting because they believed in what the Indomitable represented. We're not running, he said. Today the Vorak learned that some fights aren't worth starting. The battle with Supreme Admiral Kethmore's 50 ships lasted 6 hours. Captain Do-hyun Kim used every trick he knew. The Indomitable flew through asteroid fields, hid behind moons, and used surprise attacks from impossible angles. When the fighting ended, 20 Vorak ships were destroyed and the rest were badly damaged. But the human ship was hurt too. The hull had cracks in several places. 2 of the weapon systems were broken. Worst of all, the quantum drive was damaged and making strange noises. We can't keep fighting like this, Chief Engineer Woo-jin Lee told the captain in private. The ship needs major repairs and we don't have the parts or the facilities. How long can we keep going? Do-hyun asked. Maybe 2 more battles like that last one. Then the drive will fail completely. Do-hyun nodded grimly. They needed help, but they were alone in enemy territory, thousands of light years from home. Commander Nari Park had been monitoring communications across Vorak space. Captain, I'm getting interesting signals from multiple star systems. The rebels want to meet with us. What kind of rebels? All kinds. The messages are coming from at least 6 different species. They're organizing something big. Navigator Sora Choi looked up from her star charts. Sir, I've found a safe meeting place. There's an old mining station in an abandoned system. It's been empty for decades, but it's hidden from Vorak patrols. Do-hyun made the decision. Set course for the station. Tell the rebels we'll meet them there. The mining station was huge but falling apart. It had been built inside a large asteroid, with tunnels and chambers carved out of the rock. When the Indomitable arrived, they found dozens of rebel ships already waiting. Look at all of them, Nari said with wonder. I count ships from at least 8 different species. The rebel leaders came aboard the human ship for a secret meeting. Do-hyun had never seen such a strange group of beings. There was Ziktar, a mere engineer with 6 arms and silver skin who could build amazing machines. The Deltans were represented by Valkyra, a pilot with purple scales who could fly through asteroid fields at incredible speeds. The Corvan warrior Graxon was huge and covered in thick fur, with claws that could tear through metal. We have waited long for this day, said Velnara, the Thek elder who had become a leader among the refugees. For the first time in centuries, the Vorak are afraid. Your ship has done what we thought was impossible, added Ziktar in his mechanical-sounding voice. You have proven the Vorak can be beaten. Valkyra spoke quickly, as Deltans always did. Our pilots have been watching your battles. Your tactics are completely new. We want to learn from you. But not all the rebels trusted the humans immediately. Graxon crossed his massive arms. Words are easy. How do we know you won't abandon us when things get difficult? How do we know this isn't some Vorak trick? Do-hyun understood their doubt. What would convince you that we're serious? Prove it, Graxon growled. Help us free one of our enslaved worlds. Show us you'll risk your precious ship for our people. The other rebels murmured agreement. They had been fighting hopeless battles for generations. They needed more than promises. Nari stepped forward. Which world? Ziktar activated a holographic star map. Corvin Prime. It was Graxon's homeworld before the Vorak conquered it. Now it's a slave labor camp with millions of prisoners from dozens of species. The defenses are too strong, Valkyra said. 3 orbital defense stations plus a fleet of 30 warships. We've tried to attack it 5 times. We always fail, Du-Hyun studied the map. The planet was deep in Vorak territory, surrounded by enemy bases. It would be incredibly dangerous. If we do this, he said slowly, we'll need your help. The Indomitable is powerful, but we can't fight an entire fleet alone. What kind of help? Graxon asked. Wu Jin had been listening quietly. Now he spoke up. I've been studying Vorak technology. If I can get my hands on some of their equipment, I might be able to upgrade your ships. Upgrade them how? Ziktar asked, his silver eyes lighting up with interest. Better weapons, stronger shields, faster engines. Not as good as ours, but much better than what you have now. The rebels looked at each other with growing excitement. For the first time, they were being offered real military help, not just empty promises. There's an abandoned Vorak research station 3 systems from here, Valkyra said. It was damaged in a rebellion 10 years ago. The Vorak never bothered to clean it out. Perfect, Wu Jin said. If we can salvage equipment from there, I can start the upgrades immediately. Over the next week, the alliance grew stronger. Rebel ships brought Vorak technology to the mining station. Wu Jin and his engineering team worked day and night, combining human innovations with alien materials. The results were amazing. Mere ships that had been slow and weak now moved like fighters. Delton pilots found their already fast vessels could outrun anything the Vorak had. Even the old Corvin warships became dangerous opponents. This is incredible, Ziktar said, testing his ship's new weapons. These energy cannons are 5 times more powerful than our old ones. But the upgrades did more than improve weapons. They gave the rebels something they had almost lost. Hope. Captain, Velnara said to Do-Hyun, our people are volunteering to fight in numbers we've never seen before. Word is spreading that the tide is turning. Nori had been coordinating with rebel intelligence networks. Sir, we're getting reports from all over Vorak space. Resistance movements are becoming bolder. Some Vorak garrison forces are actually retreating from lightly defended worlds. The Vorak High Command is pulling ships back to protect their most important systems, Sora added. They're scared that we'll attack their core worlds. Do-Hyun realized they had reached a turning point. The rebellion was no longer just about his ship. Hundreds of vessels and thousands of fighters from dozens of species were joining the cause. It's time, he announced to the rebel leaders. We attack Corvin Prime tomorrow. Graxon stood up, his massive frame towering over the others. My people have been slaves for 40 years. Tomorrow they go free. The plan is simple, Nari explained, showing them a tactical display. We hit all 3 defense stations at the same time. Fast attack groups take out their weapons while the main fleet deals with the Vorak warships. What about the prisoners? Valkyra asked. The Vorak might try to kill them rather than let them escape. Wu Jin had thought of that. I've designed special transport pods. They can break through prison walls and evacuate large numbers quickly. The Delton pilots will handle the rescue operations. Ziktar checked his calculations one more time. The upgraded ship should be able to handle the orbital defenses. But if the Vorak fleet arrives earlier than expected, then we fight them too, Do-Hyun said simply. We've come this far. We're not stopping now. As the rebel fleet prepared for battle, Do-Hyun stood alone on the bridge of the Indomitable. Through the window, he could see dozens of ships getting ready for the most dangerous mission any of them had ever attempted. Captain, Nari said, joining him at the window. Are you worried? Yes, he admitted. If we fail tomorrow, a lot of good people will die, and the rebellion might collapse before it really gets started. And if we succeed, Do-Hyun smiled grimly, then the Vorak will know their empire is ending, and every enslaved species in the galaxy will know that freedom is possible. The next morning, the largest rebel fleet in centuries left the mining station and set course for Corvin Prime. In a few hours, they would either win the greatest victory in their history or die trying. But for the first time in generations, the rebels believed they could actually win. The attack on Corvin Prime was a complete success. The rebel fleet freed 3 million prisoners and destroyed the entire Vorak garrison. Word of the victory spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Dozens of worlds declared independence from the Dominion. Vorak forces found themselves fighting rebellions on hundreds of planets. But Captain Do-Hyun Kim knew this was just the beginning. In the command center of the mining station, now the headquarters of the growing rebellion, he studied reports from across Vorak space with his officers and the alien rebel leaders. The Vorak are pulling back to defend their core systems, Commander Nari Park reported. They've abandoned over 50 worlds in the outer territories. That's good news, but it also makes them more dangerous, said Graxon, the Corvan warrior. All their remaining ships are concentrated around their most important planets. Chief Engineer Wu Jin Lee looked worried. We've been tracking their fleet movements. They're gathering the largest armada in Vorak history around Dominion Prime, their capital world. Navigator Sora Choi brought up a holographic display of the Vorak capital system. Over 300 warships, including their most powerful dreadnoughts, plus orbital defense platforms that could destroy a moon. Velnara, the wise Thek elder, spoke quietly. Dominion Prime is the heart of their empire. If we could take it, the war would be over, Do-hyun finished. But it's also the most heavily defended system in the galaxy. The rebel leaders looked at each other uncertainly. They had been winning smaller battles, but this was different. This was attacking the strongest fortress the Vorak had ever built. Zigtar, the six-armed Mir engineer, studied the tactical data with his mechanical precision. The numbers are not in our favor. We have perhaps 100 ships after all our recent victories. They have 3 times that many. Plus home field advantage, added Valkyra, the purple-scaled Deltan pilot. They know every asteroid, every moon, every hiding place in that system. Do-hyun walked around the holographic display, studying it from every angle. His crew and the rebel leaders watched him think. Finally, he spoke. We're not going to fight them the way they expect. What do you mean? Kraxon asked. Every species that ever challenged the Vorak tried to match their strength. Ship against ship, weapon against weapon. That's why they always lost. Nari began to understand. You want to use different tactics. Exactly. We don't fight their strengths. We fight their weaknesses. Wu Jin leaned forward. What weaknesses? Dominion Prime is the most fortified world in known space. Do-hyun smiled. That's exactly the weakness I'm talking about. They've built their entire defense around stopping a traditional attack. Fleets jumping in at the edge of the system, fighting their way past the outer defenses, then attacking the planet. So what do we do instead? Sora asked. We appear right in the middle of their formation. No warning. No time for them to organize their defenses. The rebel leaders looked shocked. Zigtar spoke first. Captain, that's impossible. No ship can jump directly into the middle of an enemy fleet. The gravitational interference would destroy any vessel that tried. Any normal ship, yes, Wu Jin said, suddenly understanding his captain's plan. But the Indomitable has quantum drive technology they've never seen before. You want to use the quantum drive to jump directly into the heart of their fleet? Nari said with amazement. Not just the Indomitable, Do-hyun corrected. All of us. The room erupted in surprised voices. The alien rebels had never heard of such a crazy plan. Captain, Velnara said carefully, our ships don't have quantum drives. We can't do what you're suggesting. Wu Jin was already working on his computer. Actually, we might be able to. I've been studying the interaction between our quantum field and the upgraded systems I installed in your ships. If we create a large enough field, you could pull other ships through quantum space with you. Sora finished, her eyes wide with understanding. It's never been tried before, Wu Jin admitted, and it's incredibly dangerous. If the field collapses while we're in quantum space, we could be scattered across the galaxy. Or worse. But if it works, Graxon said slowly, we could appear right next to the Vorak command ships before they know we're there. Do-hyun nodded. The element of surprise would be complete. We could cripple their command structure before they could coordinate a response. The rebels argued about the plan for hours. Some thought it was too risky. Others believed it was their only chance to win the war. Finally, they took a vote. All in favor of the quantum jump attack? Do-hyun asked. One by one, every rebel leader raised their hand or appendage. They would risk everything on one desperate gamble. The preparation took 2 weeks. Wu Jin and the other engineers worked around the clock to modify the quantum drive. They had to create a field powerful enough to transport over 100 ships, while making sure it wouldn't tear them apart in the process. The field generators are installed on all the rebel ships, Wu Jin reported. But Captain, I have to tell you, I'm only about 60% sure this will work. What happens if it doesn't work? Nari asked. Best case scenario, we just don't jump and have to fight our way in the normal way. Worst case, we get scattered across space and never see each other again. Do-hyun looked at his crew. They had been through so much together. From the moment they were pulled through the first anomaly, they had faced impossible odds and survived. What do you think? He asked them. I think, Sora said, that we didn't come this far to play it safe now. The rebels are counting on us, Nari added. If we don't try, the Vorak will eventually win anyway. And I want to see if this crazy idea actually works, Woojin said with a grin. Do-hyun made the announcement to the entire fleet. All ships prepare for quantum jump to Dominion Prime. This is what we've been fighting for. Today we end the Vorak Empire once and for all. The rebel fleet assembled in formation around the Indomitable, ships from 8 different species, all united by their hatred of oppression and their hope for freedom. Quantum field generators online, Woojin announced. All ships reporting ready, Sora. Set coordinates for the center of the Vorak fleet formation, Do-hyun ordered. Coordinates locked in, Captain. Do-hyun looked around the bridge one more time. His crew was ready. The rebels were ready. The only question was whether their desperate plan would work. All ships, this is Captain Kim. Initiate quantum jump in 3, 2, 1. Jump. The universe twisted around them. Space and time bent in ways that hurt to look at. The Indomitable and the entire rebel fleet disappeared from normal space. When they reappeared, they were floating in the middle of the largest Vorak armada ever assembled. Hundreds of enemy ships surrounded them, but the Vorak were completely unprepared for this impossible attack. All ships, open fire, Do-hyun commanded. The battle for Dominion Prime had begun.